How's it going, everybody? It is me, Shane, here to give you another Spy Family episode review and recap. Today's episode is episode 21. We're getting closer to the 24-25 mark. And today's episode is two-parters. It's Nightfall / First Fit of Jealousy. Before I go any further, please do me a solid here. Hit that like button, leave a comment down below. I would love to hear from you guys. Subscribe and hit the notification bell. Be notified of more videos such as this one. I hope you all had a very safe, bountiful Thanksgiving weekend. I had some particularly good days. That's all I'm gonna say. Particularly good days. So let's begin. Where? In a Wise safe house. It is Safe House G. There's supposed to be a joint mission there. And it's supposed to be two people. And Sylvie is telling this young lady, this young lady here, giving her a folder. Her name is Fiona Frost, a clerk at the Berlin General Hospital. But she's actually a Wise spy. Her and Twilight are supposed to handle this thing together. And Sylvia says that, she mustn't let this become a hindrance to Operation Strix. And as she's speaking, we see on the backboard for Strix, we see the two cronies of Damien and Becky Blackbell. We also see the Father Desmond and Damien Desmond. And what is this chick's name? She says, I'm terribly sorry that I wasn't available when the mission started, believing that it would have been finished already if she was there. And I'm already defensive. I'm like, no, that's false. 5-letter word that rhymes with Stitch. And she says it's not too late. I can easily take over. And Sylvia tells her Eden will find it very weird that they'll find it suspicious that he got remarried so fast again. Plus, yours a local. So no, you will remain as is, and you will concentrate on your work. And this woman's going, well, something happened to Mrs. Forger. Happened to retire. Maybe their position will open up. And Sylvia's like, wait, what? No. Don't do anything. Don't get any ideas. And in my mind, I'm like, Yor would murder her. Quite literally murder you. She can kill you, lady. And so she's yelling at her as she walks away because she's rude. She does this twice in this episode where she's like, excuse me, and leaves. And it's just like, no, you're rude. And of course, her coworkers move out the way. And they're all just like, they think that she would stab any of them in the back to move ahead, which she probably has done before. And of course, our wonderful narrator goes, a wicked, cold-blooded, brazen woman. She would carry out any mission without batting an eye. She makes others around her uneasy. She has her ambitions. Her name is Nightfall. It's a really good code name. Then that's when the cool theme song comes in, the one that's by Bump of Chicken. They really know how to make the songs that make you cry. So, Yor's upset that she failed at making breakfast again, and Loid had to make lunch for them. And she hopes that she can make something else other than the stew she knows how to make that comes from the bottom of her heart. She needs to think of other dishes that come from the bottom of her heart. And so someone's at the door. And of course, it's this asshole over here. So she says that she's there for Sensei. She's there for Loid, the doctor, Dr. Forger. She tells her that, he's out walking the dog with their daughter. And of course she knew that. She already knew that. She said, oh, I'm here to bring back your daughter's magnifying glass when she was last there. Unlikely story. She's probably been plotting to do this crap for a while. And it's kind of awkward a bit. She goes, oh, you want to come in? She's like, all right, sit down and wait. And Yor's looking up and down like, oh, she's very pretty. And she's thinking like, why is she staring at me? Oh, is she thinking that this is the mistress coming in to take her husband? You're not half wrong. She's not saying like how I'm saying it, but I'm definitely feeling the vibe that she's putting down that way. Right? And she plans on stealing Yor's role as wife. Thinks that she would get rid of her, and if you're delaying the mission, I'm going to get rid of you. I'm going to deal with you. Though she doesn't see anything physically wrong with her, means that she can tell that Yor is quite attractive, right? Yor's nervous because the only outside guest that she had is Yuri and Frankie. So, and the other chick wants to get rid of her by getting Yor to quit on her own volition. And so she mentions Anya, saying that she's very lively. I bet it's really tiring. She's like, yeah, you have an out. This isn't your actual daughter. You can just run away. And Yor loves that. Anya is full of energy and energetic. And what am I here? But Yor says that she is lacking and believes Loid does everything. And of course, this asshole over here is agreeing in her head, like, yeah, I don't like her. I don't like her. I wonder if that'll stay the same. I don't like her. Because then, where am I at here? But she said, I feel you might be kind of rough, right? But Yor again had said that, why would it be rough or would give you that impression? She's full of energy. She doesn't know what to do when she's down. And that's what led her to talk about that with Yor. And so she says out loud, oh yeah, Sensei was also complaining that before she could finish any stupid ass line she was going to do, in comes Anya, Loid, and Bond. Orf. They're there. And I'm just like, So as they're doing their greetings and like, this is so and so, I was like, oh, Fiona, what are you doing here? They are doing one of the coolest things that I've never seen before regarding spies, where they're talking, they're saying something, but their lips keep moving past whatever they're saying, and they're actually doing a double speak through it. Here's the cool part. Anya's looking at them. Anya knows. She can semi-read their minds, because you got to think about this, right? And Anya's like, oh, she's another spy. And Lloyd's like, Twilight's like, so why'd you come all the way here when you could have just gave it to me at work? And she's nosy. She's like, I want to confirm, Operation Strix. He's like, confirm what? He's like, she's thinking she's doing this for no reason. Having unnecessary contact is very tricky for spies. That's what he's thinking. And she's like, so how's walking the dog part of Operation Strix? You should have that woman do all that. And I love Loid. He doesn't even realize that he's in love with Yor, because his eyes get narrow. He's like, so what are you trying to get at? And I'm just like, you stupid mother lover. And so she says, playing house, she thinks we should reevaluate the mission because you're playing house. He's like, it's none of your concern. And the anime sparks are flying as they're combating. And Anya's like, is she a bad spy? Oh no. And he's like, this lady doesn't get along with Papa, and her face is scared. So she's moving around. She's walking around. She's looking at her. And then she reads her real mind. And this woman says, I love you, Twilight. I was like, what? I love, or in Japanese, daisuki. Heart eyes in her eyes. In her mind, I guess it's in her thoughts, but in her mind, it's heart eyes. It's the word ski. Ski, that means, love. Daisuki. Daisuki means big love. Like, I really love you. And she's thinking she wants him to praise her cooking, praise her housework, praise her research, praise her giving him all her money of the month, all her income. And she's like, oh, I don't want that dumb woman. You get the Yor in the back going, wow. And says, hey, I want to really be married to you. She, and the narrator confirms it, going, codename Nightfall. Her ambition was to become Twilight's bride. That's right. She thinks their honeymoon will be on an island. Anya is just shook because seeing all the thoughts in her put a bright light. It's like, those techniques in anime where there's the giant energy attack and like the white covers the person's face and there's lines. That was happening to Anya, and Anya just has this black shadow over her. And Yor says, I'm going to get you all some coffee. And she asks Anya if she wants hot chocolate. And she's like, you okay? And the reason why Loid brought them home early is because he said, it looks like some suspicious dark clouds. And it just starts to rain. And Anya's still shook. And Yor's looking at them in the living area through like a reflection in the kitchen cabinet. She heard what she said. Oh, Sensei was complaining that. And she's like, okay. So she imagines him saying that he'll give Yor over to the authorities and just marry with her. And she's freaking out like, no. I can't blame him for feeling this way. I mess up. And I thought that I saw knives in front of her cabinet, but I guess she didn't grab those, which is interesting. So think about it like this. She doesn't really care about being turned over to the authorities. She's worried that she's not doing enough for Loid. When are these two going to realize that they actually care about each other? Is it going to take Anya being like, hey, I have psychic powers. I just want to let you two know you two actually love each other? I'm just saying. Anyway. So Anya's happy that she gets the cocoa. Anya best character, Anya best girl, Anya's adorable. And the crazy chick is analyzing everything, saying, oh yeah, Twilight likes his coffee black. Can't believe you give him milk. You're unfit because you don't know that. And I'm just, really? Seriously? But then he adds milk to the coffee, and she's like, she's biting her thumbnail, going, I can't believe he did this. Is there something about him I don't know? He's like, oh no, it's just his character, the character of good husband Loid that he's playing. Yeah, I got it. Meanwhile, Loid is thinking in his mind, yeah, the milk is really gonna settle my stomach in because Yor makes bad food. And Anya is just reading this mind, going, she says out loud, or at least in her mind, Anya goes, this woman is wild. Wait, yeah. She's like, this lady is wild. She drops her cocoa because then the chick is going on in her head like, oh, this child couldn't be properly trained to not drop it. If she was properly trained, she would have grabbed it, while Yor's instantly going to clean it up. And it's like, yeah, Loid, not Loid, but Twilight wasn't been so busy that he didn't get the chance to train her. And Bond, I love that Loid is like, Bond, don't lick that. It's poisonous for you. And just Bond's like, borf. Love that freaking dog. So this chick is just thinking like, oh, she can't even scold the child properly. She's so unfit for the role. And I'm just like, middle finger F off. And she's thinking like, oh, I would whip her into shape. Literally in her mind, as Anya's reading it, she's whipping and everything else. And Anya's like, I don't want that lady. I don't want her for that. And so she's using code again in front of Loid, going, hey, I want to talk about this mission. So Anya jumps down and says, Mama, I want to be coddled now. He says, she loves her mama that cleans up her cocoa messes. And she's the best in the world. And Yor is just full on loving it. Just, oh, Anya's such a sweetheart angel, just full on blush face, trying to hide her face. And Loid's like, that's a very specific reason. Okay. And then this chick is thinking, oh, I could coddle her too if I needed to. And she's like, I'll bring you some imported chocolates next time I come around. Cocoa when I come around Anya. Anya goes kind of shocked, but goes more closer to Yor. And, Yor's like, oh, no, she's just nervous around a new face. Like, no, she's trying to make sure that, her dad keeps you. Because this chick is trying to come in between you all. Even you thought so. Like, sheesh. Anywho, Loid is telling her, why don't you just go and play with Bond? And she's cuddling Bond, this big, goofy, lovable dog, and he's loving the pets and everything. And she's saying, oh, she's happy with Mama, Papa, and Bond and loves them the most. This fires up Yor enough, forgetting that this lady is here, basically leaning forward and saying to Loid, I promise that I'll do my best. I'll do everything I can for you guys. I will clean up as much cocoa as I have to. And of course, this chick is thinking, you should teach her not to switch with me. Her whole entire thing is switch positions with me. Yes, I get it. She's in love with Twilight, right? But, and so Loid straight up tells her, hey, you're working hard enough. That's why Anya's fond of you. And I can't ask anything else of you because you're doing a wonderful job. And she's tearing up and she's saying, I'll do my best. And he's smiling. She's like, oh, I've seen his fake smiles because of training. We get a nice little flashback. He tells her, don't show emotions while you're a spy. He's her senpai because now calls him sensei when he's supposed to be the doctor, but calls him senpai. Which is the weird translation. We know what senpai means. Come on, translators. We call him senpai, where he's like, yeah, bury your emotions. And I'm like, so are you the one that ruined her? And she goes, oh, I will never crack this poker face ever with her salute and all that other stuff. And he's like, I didn't say go that far. Anyway, she has seen various roles of him. He played a colonel. He played a black market douchebag. He had a soul patch, y'all. Only one that can get away with a soul patch is Guy Fieri. No. And, oh my goodness. The guy from Sugar Ray, lead singer of Sugar Ray. Yeah, both of them can get away with it. No one else. And he played some guy named Lionel. So he must love L names. And she says, I've seen that fake smile all the time. And then she says, I can see the subtle truth behind it. So it's not just a fake smile. It's actually a smile in earnest, which makes her kind of tighten her knuckles and goes, all right, I got to get back. I forgot to buy something. I got to leave. And Anya's like, nah, yours like, well, it's raining. You want to wait till it stops? And she again rudely goes, excuse me, and leaves. So Loid's like, she didn't have an umbrella. He grabs two. I'm going to go and give her this one. I'll be right back. Right. He goes outside. She's like, he's like, hey, Fiona, wait, you didn't get the thing. You didn't get this. You didn't get the umbrella. And, she forgot to tell him something about, the mission. The mission's between the both of them working together. And so she turns around and looks at him. He's like, Nightfall? He can tell her face is different. So they try to animate this very well where, when rain falls on your face, it looks liquid looks clear. So it's as if her face is wet, but you can tell she's crying. And she's happy that it's raining because now it's still masking her emotions from him. She doesn't want him, to know how she feels. And so she wants to keep her emotions hidden. And, that's what he taught her. He taught her that spies hide their emotions and all that other stuff. And she's going to keep doing this until the Cold War is over. Right. Keep losing my spot here. And until the Cold War is over, she calls him Senpai, which they translated to Loid or Twilight or whatever, but it's Senpai. And she doesn't care if they're a fake couple. She just wants to be by his side. So I guess in this next mission, they're going to be some type of fake couple. But she's saying out loud, playing house has made you lose your edge. I'm going to show you, blah, 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 blah. So super tsundere, right? While we have Yuri, that's the sister con, we have the super tsundere chick who's not going to say exactly what she feels and is hiding everything, which I typically don't like this trope of character. Like, if you paid attention to my season 1 review of Comey, Chan Can't Communicate, the one chick that wants Comey and is trying to kill Tato, it's just, I don't like characters like that, regardless of gender or whatever you want to throw at me. Those type of characters are annoying. I think the only time that stuff works, actually, I was going to say Master Roshi or even Jiraiya, but it only works for them because they're broad with it and they're playing a trope of the old dirty man, but they're actually really strong masters and they're probably acting stupid just so you can let your guard down. Maybe not Master Roshi, but you get what I'm saying, right? So this is what she says. She's going to hide and she's not going to speak the truth of her heart. Whatever. So the episode's over. But remember, I said first fit of jealousy. It's not this one. So the last 3 minutes, Bond and Anya are watching this this Team Bear Squad show. Where there's a bunch of animals and I guess they got guns and they're part of an army or whatever. And Anya tells Bond he looks like the polar bear and it's all cute. But then the penguin is shot and they're super surprised and she's like going nuts because Loid told her, you need to brush your teeth, and get ready to study. And she's freaking out and he pulls her up. He's like, what the heck type of grim show is this? Time for you to brush your teeth and all that. And so just before she goes to bed, she says, I want to sleep with Mr. Penguin, that big penguin that Loid bought her. Remember from the last episode of part 1? And so she's going to sleep, adorable as can be. But then Bond, who's standing outside her door, he looks and he's like, and this is the funniest, pardon my language, the funniest shit ever. This dog in mine says, jealous. I just like, did that dog just speak? Nah, but don't just, okay. Next morning, I guess after Anya had brushed her teeth, she comes in and Mr. Penguin, Agent Penguin, is torn up. And she's like, what happened to you? And Loid's looking like, see a lot of bite and scratch marks. And she turns and looks at Bond, and Bond turns his head and she reads his mind. And whoever's doing the voice for Bond with your borfs and your barks and everything else, I need to find out who this VA voice actor is, the Siriu is, because this is hilarious. This freaking dog says, Penguin bad, he stole Anya. And so she's like, yeah, she runs at the dog to get him. And Loid just like, no, don't do that. Picks her up. So it's adorable and it's funny. And she yells at Bond saying, I hate you. And now he said his tail stopped thumping and he's super sad and she's crying because it's broken. And yours like, I'll sew him up for you. You would think Yor would be able to do it, right? Because she likes to clean. She should be able to sew. No, it looks worse. It looks like the thing was slashed up and murdered. And Anya's just like, he's even more dead now. Loid's gonna take care of it, and he tells Anya, go and study, I'll take care of it. So she's crying while she's studying. He's doing the sewing, and Bond opens up the bottom shelf, and Loid kind of looks over his shoulder and looks at him. And this is one reason I like Loid. So he brings in the Penguin, and she says, oh, he looks really Frankenstein because he has all these stitches. And the initial thing, this is what I forgot to tell you. Before this, Loid was like, well, I'll just buy you another one. She's like, no, the reason why I love him is because, Papa, you gave him to me. It's just like, oh, I get it. I totally get it. Like, you don't want to buy a new one because that's the first one's sentimental. I get it. So now he gave her the Penguin and says, well, Agent Penguin, agents and soldiers, soldiers getting scars. Scars are nothing to be ashamed of. They're medals and things like that. Agent Penguin has just been through a lot of battles and he should be commended for the scars, right? And, they're nothing to be afraid of. And she's like, okay. And Bond comes in and she's like, evil Bond, what are you doing here? And he drops a bag of peanuts. Her super sweet, salty peanuts. And she reads his mind and she's like, you're saying you're sorry? And Loid's like, it looks like he wants you to forgive him. Remember what Bond Man said, yesterday's enemy is today's friend. And she's like, that's from episode 18. First of all, shout outs to all parents, especially fathers, that get involved with the shows and things that their children like. Ignore that. Magic. Anyway, shout outs to all those kind of parents that get involved with what their kids like, because Loid was doing it so he can help her focus more on school and get those Stellas instead of her being whipped by this jackass. He knows exactly what the ins and outs, especially using his super spy brain. And so Anya picks up the Penguin and speaks as Mr. Penguin, saying, we'll be friends, and I was deeply hurt by what you did, but I call a truce to the war. She peeks out with her little cute blushing face saying, Anya's sorry, she said that she hated you. And he pounced, licks her on the face, and she makes them do the whole treaty pact. They do a treaty over peanuts. And Loid is smiling, saying, I wish things were this easy for the East and West. And that's, you know what? I wish things were so easy like that for us in the real world. It's freaking tough out there. Next episode is a tennis mission. I have no clue what it entails. I'm looking forward to seeing it. So, what are my feelings on her? I feel like she's worse than Yuri, right? Because even Yuri crumbles when it's like Anya can play him like a fiddle, and Loid is so good at what he does. He's kind of like, it's hard for me to hate this guy, but I still hate you. I'm leaving. She is trying to meddle and break things up. Dude's was like, oh, I'll torture him. I'll arrest him. She's like, I'm gonna ruin this whole thing. Time will tell. Initially, she annoys me because I'm Team Yor all the way. Remember the Bond, not Bond Man, but Loid Man episode, like rewarding Anya and yours drunken sway, and that cool ass animation for a fight that probably would have never existed if it wasn't for these circumstances. Bruh. Team Yor, 100%. Get out of here, Nightfall. Bad. So anyway, we give this episode a definite 4 out of 5. We have introduced a new main character, or side character, however you want to put it. Reoccurring character at the very least. But we've introduced a new character. We understand motivations. We have enemies from literally the west and enemies from the east trying to break these two up or meddle. But then we have Anya, who's going to keep it all together. Bless your heart, Anya. 4 out of 5 from me. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you agree with my assessment? Do you like Nightfall? Love her design. Her design is nice. Like, white haired, got the bang from the one lady from Captain Planet. That lady got the little bang thing going on there. White hair, petite lady. She seems really great design. Fantastic design. Just don't like her personality at the moment. So we'll see. I feel for her. Unrequited love that you're keeping on the inside. I get it. But don't do that. Anyway, please hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, be notified of more videos like this. I deeply appreciate you all taking time out to listen to me. I'm sorry that this was late, but it's the holidays. As always, be good, be blessed, wash those hands. Be good to yourself, be good to others. Either way it goes, please don't be a jerk. Stay safe out there, you all. It is ridiculous. We all know it's ridiculous. Unless you're one of the ones that are doing the ridiculous stuff, to which I will say, cut that shit out. But please, be safe. Above all else, realize that there's someone out there who cares for you no matter what. Someone would rather talk to you today than miss you tomorrow and mourn you tomorrow. So if there's something on your heart, you let it out. If you need to talk to somebody, you can talk to me. Social medias are right there. Feel free to hit me up. I'm usually mostly on Instagram, but I do answer my Twitter. All right. So with all that, I thank you once again. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.